Be the company that empowers your team with AI tools, increasing their effectiveness and efficiency by 2, 3, 5x. That's how you gain an edge, because if you don't, someone else will, and you'll be out of business.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
Welcome to the Partners Podcast, where you get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to entrepreneurs who are relentlessly building real, profitable companies. Join us as we ask them the hard questions so you can take away the mindset, strategy, and tactics that launch them to success.
Welcome to another episode of the Partners Podcast, joined by a very special guest, someone I admire and look up to on social media, someone who's turned his life around in so many ways, including his health, which is my current biggest focus. But, I say focus, I need to give it more emphasis. We have Chip here of Soiree Productions. He runs a real estate media agency out in Toronto, LA, and Hawaii. He also is serving agents in 15 different states, helping agents clone themselves through AI to do marketing more effectively, more efficiently. Very excited to have you here, Chip. Why don't we just start off with, dude, what's your day? What does your day look like as a agency owner that is running a $200,000 a month production house and company, specified in so many different things, living out in Hawaii? How do you manage all that? What's your day look like?
Yeah, man. Well, thank you. That was a great introduction. So thank you for that. I look up to you as well, by the way. When we first got connected, I was like, okay, this guy's really got it figured out. So the feeling is definitely mutual. Day to day, obviously it varies, it changes. The one thing I'm the absolute most grateful for is that I've been able to fully automate the actual, running of the business, right? So the business definitely is able to run itself. That's why I'm, here sitting down with you it's 1 p.m. for me. Nobody's going to be blowing up my phone. I am sitting on my lanai at my house in Hawaii overlooking the ocean. Like this took, 13 years, but I am at a point where I am the number one thing and the number one advice I have for everybody is figure out every piece of your business so that you can automate it, which then you can focus on what you enjoy most. For me, at the moment, right now, I enjoy most. There's two aspects. Number one, continuing to kind of like improve our overall product and results for our clients, right? And then number two, I enjoy sales. So any sort of big account, big brokerage that wants to talk to us, I love sitting down with them, getting them locked in, and getting my entire team to fulfill whatever package they ended up booking.
Very cool. What about your personal life? I see you traveling. I see you, living a bougie lifestyle and always in hotels. I don't know if you're filming them or you're staying at them. I can never tell. I'm like, this guy's half the time you're staying at.
My partner Cassie has been always wanting to be like, we gotta film resorts this, but I'm like, listen, that's my time to disconnect. That's my time where it's like I disconnect. Listen, being a business owner comes with certain perks, right? So obviously, number one, because I've been able to automate it, yes, I can definitely take time off. I don't want people to think that like, oh, I just like don't work, like I'm retired. No. I'm like not even 3% where I think our actual potential is. So I do work very hard every day, but at the same time, when it is time to disconnect with me, my partner, my family, we definitely go and travel, around the world, right? So being here in Hawaii, we're pretty close to Japan, so we've been going to Japan quite a lot. We have family in Europe, so we go to Europe, a couple times a year. I still visit all of my other locations, for sometimes business, sometimes fun, depending kind of what the trip is. In terms of the actual travel, and you said you saw some nice hotels. Again, when you're a business owner, you have quite a decent amount of expenses. You put a lot of that, on certain credit cards. You get, I'm sure you probably do it as well. You get quite a decent amount of points, so you get to travel, not entirely for free, but a big chunk of our nice trips are usually comped by points.
That's awesome. We got the travel guy here too. The points guy, right?
I got experience. I got enough experience for sure.
I remember I racked up close to like $500,000 on Chase, and then I just all of Europe was free. I did a month in Europe with my girlfriend, on points. So yeah, points are pretty awesome.
That's the dream, man.
Yeah, and then you hike a good amount too. I see you're always hiking, always ripping trails, like every opportunity you get.
Yeah. day to day, I have to add in some sort of like, exercise, right? So I'm training for a pretty big race coming up in Europe in next month, where it's a trail run. It's like 26 kilometers, 5,000 feet of elevation. It's going to be pretty awesome. It's my first time ever doing an actual trail running race. You were mentioned my health early on, and that's a big one too, right? So, me being able to automate my business also meant that I didn't have to work, 16 plus hours days, 18 plus hour days anymore, which allowed me to go from like 250 pounds. I'm now down to about 180. I'm trying to go down to like 160 ish, 165. I think it's kind of my goal weight for my height. So that like 70-pound drop happened because again, I bought back my time, which then allowed me to be like, okay, I'm gonna take running seriously. I'm gonna take my health seriously. I'm gonna get myself in the gym. Like there is
Yeah.
no more excuses. Before, when you're working 24/7, which listen, I had to, to scale my business. So, when people are in different stages of their lives, that's okay. But at some point I had to say like enough was enough. And that's right. That's why I'm always hiking, I'm always running, I'm always just like every single day I have to do something outside because obviously I live in what I consider one of the best places on earth.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and it's on my bucket list. I can't believe I haven't done Hawaii yet because I lived in California. It was as close as you could get in being in the states to flying out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely on up there. You mentioned something that's interesting because I deal with the same challenge as an entrepreneur, and I'm like, oh, I don't have the time. I got to prioritize my work. I got to prioritize my clients. Got to take care of my team. I got to do all this. And then we can all agree with the saying, right? You got to take care of yourself so you can take care of others. How, if you could do it again, right? Would you have waited till you got to a point where you had more financial independence and like you actually bought back your time, or would you have like started from day one, addressing that earlier?
I mean, do I wish I was in this shape my whole life and not like yo-yoed, for the most adulthood until I was like, I'm 28 right now, so I've only been healthy for about, 2 years. I could say yes. Like the short answer would be like, of course, right? But the truth is, would I have done anything differently? Absolutely not. Like I can really look back to literally sitting and sending out cold DMs to agents 24/7 before automations were in place, before anything was in place, literally down to TMI sitting on the toilet. And I was still doing that. Like every minute I had of the day to me was how do I get the next agent that I can talk to? So there was no time to go running. There was no time, and that some of those agents, those mid 5, 7 years are still 100K agents or 50K or 20K agents into my business today. So it's like absolutely it just had to happen, right? So I think the way it sometimes works, and everybody's on a different timeline. Oh my God, we all love comparing ourselves. That guy's doing better numbers. That guy's healthier. That guy looks better. But at the same time, like I think everybody, all of us as individuals are on our own timeline. And we have to just understand that, hey, sometimes you'll have time for this. Sometimes it's like, hey, now it's time to run my business and scale my business. Now it's time to take care of my health. Okay, now it's time to get back, on the grind. So I think it's always a little bit of a back and forth. I think if we all had perfect all the time, I don't know, life would maybe be a little bit too boring, right? So, no, I don't regret anything. But of course, man, I would love to have had, it been in this shape like when I was in high school all the way till now,
Yeah, that's definitely like something that I'm aspiring more to, like just have this true active lifestyle. And I always have this excuse, saying, "Hey, like I got to take care of this. I got this LA mastermind coming up. I got these 3 business initiatives I'm launching." And it's never good timing. But I've seen like a lot of very successful people just like truly integrate it in part of their lifestyle and make it a non-negotiable. So at this point, I see you like just squeezing a hike early on, like in the day, and then like even when you're traveling and you're like your schedule's packed, I see you always making time for it. So that's pretty awesome to see. But yeah, in the beginning when we're trying to prove something to the world, and we're like, yo, I need to make my first million. Fuck health. Obviously, we're borrowing against our life and health for a little bit. But yeah, at some point, it all makes sense. At least I think for people like you and I who are, you know, whatever we do, we're all in, right? And sometimes it's at the expense of a lot of other things. I'd love to hear about your journey though. Like you said, you've been doing this for 13 years. So 13 years. what was like the first couple years like? How did you get out of your own way? What were some of the kind of limiting beliefs you had to overcome, or kind of challenges you had to face that you had to tackle to be able to start scaling up an agency?
Yeah, I would say at first it was actually, figuring out what it even means to shoot real estate, right? So my background is in, doing events. I did it straight out of high school, right? So I was great then in high school. I had my dad's. I was lucky enough to have like access to like one of my dad's like DSLRs. He was always kind of obsessed with like taking family photos of us like on travel and things like that. And then, I borrowed it because I really, really, really wanted to get a job. I really wanted to kind of have like my own money. All my friends were doing it, and I really didn't want, to be left behind on weekends. When they'd all go out and I had no money and they had money, right? So I really wanted that, and I just kind of stumbled upon, Kijiji. It's like a Canadian Craigslist, and I found that people were posting like, "Hey, I can do media service for you. I can like film your birthday. I can film your wedding, things like that." And I was like, I can do that. That seems easy. You're just kind of pointing a camera and figuring it out. So that's how like I started. I started booking these. I would meet people. I did a bunch of just crazy jobs in the first 6 months. And then the realtor found me. A realtor found me on that like free ad that I had going on. And I sat down with him and he's like, "Hey man, like have you ever done real estate? I really want to elevate my videos." And obviously this is way before, like this is before, Instagram. This is before, gimbals, like, our gimbals, like you'd have to like balance them with actual weights. Like it was like way, way back, what feels like forever ago now.
Yeah.
And I had to just figure it all out because he sounded very excited. He says, "Hey, I have multiple listings for you. This can be like something that's steady." And I'm like, "Oh my God, this sounds like a dream." I researched it more. I saw other people were doing it. I saw people in the States doing it. I was like, "This is crazy." And man, like I literally just had to overnight teach myself on YouTube how to shoot, like, first of all, what equipment I need. So I had to go find like a cheap used like wide lens because I didn't have a lens. I had to like find one of those gimbals and it was like $80. And I literally spent all night. Like my mom just told me this one, like, cause I visited Toronto last month and she just told me, she's like, "Chip, I remember when you literally didn't sleep that night because you couldn't figure out that gimbal and how frustrated you were that you watched this YouTube video that will teach you how to shoot and you just couldn't do it." But I literally didn't sleep that night. And I went on the next morning and I did a test shoot for this guy. And obviously it turned out horrible, but it worked out. I think he liked me. I think he saw that I had drive, and then I started working with him. So early on, right, I had one client, one agent. And why that was great for me was that I still didn't know how to do anything. Like the content was horrible. Like I had to, like, again, I didn't know how to do photos, I didn't know how to do videos. I had to kind of like with time and with volume and kind of at his expense, but he got a great deal on pricing, of course. I had to kind of like learn how to do all of this. And it was just about getting started because then obviously, he was getting busy. And then you mentioned what kind of held me back. Well, a lot of people were asking, after I got good, a lot of people were asking, "Oh, who's using? Like, who are you using?" And he, gate, like, kind of kept me, he was like gatekeeping me for quite some time, but eventually, I sat him down and I said, "Hey, brother, like, I want to be able to grow. I'll still prioritize you, but I really want to be able to grow." And once we kind of had that agreement, my business, it was still not a business because it was still just me. I don't call it a business until you actually have people on the team, but it was like we were starting to get busy, right? And then another thing that held me back was I didn't hire my first editor until I was already almost burnt out. Right. So I'm sure many, many agency owners, maybe with you helping them now, you're teaching them to do it way sooner. But man, was I working 20-hour days, just like filming all day, editing all night, having to deliver the next day. And it was just like the burnout was insane. I did that for months and months and months until I was like, wait a minute, like this is not right. And I finally hired my first photo editor at the time, which was an absolute game changer. So those two things held me back a little bit, but then in the end, it worked out.
Yeah. And then from there, you went ham on sales and marketing as well. Like once you realized that you didn't need the referrals from that one guy, you could just go out and get it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely a big chunk. Like I actually the very first million in the business was almost entirely organically. I didn't spend anything on marketing. I didn't spend like everything was 100% organic, referral, and in social media. So then definitely the social media was one of the biggest aspects because obviously everybody was kind of starting to, ask about who's doing this, who's doing that. And then we did kind of this clever thing where on the MLS websites, you can like build property websites for the MLS side. We would say like, hey, this package was built by, and it'd link to our website. And then all of these agents would see it and then it would give us more business and so on and so forth. So it actually like, we got to about like 80K, I would say about 80K a month, almost entirely just through that system, as well as obviously showing our work on socials extensively. This at the time was only Toronto. Up until 2021, it was just Toronto and nothing else. So we did all of that over there. Obviously, COVID was a huge boom, but I had to obviously learn to adapt not just with the industry, but also to make sure I bring on, the right people on the team, right? So the right filmmakers, the right editors, everything. It's like if you have the right people, it's so much easier to grow your business. But yes, once I figured that out, it definitely got a lot easier for sure.
Yeah. So if you had advice to give to someone, it would be definitely hire an editor as soon as possible because that's a lower value task that you can definitely outsource pretty fast and easily. Video editing, photo editing, both. Or do you
Yeah.
think
So
video editing?
definitely, it's really interesting, right? Because I see all of these people. It's two ways of going about it. It really depends. What do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy more being a content creator and being good, being known for your art and your style and everything? Or do you enjoy more being a business owner and you want to scale this thing to the moon and make as much money as possible? Where I see people stuck, and even some people that have done fantastic. You have people that you share sometimes who like their video content is definitely better than ours, right? But who has potential better numbers and even a better lifestyle? Because what ends up happening if you're known, your individual, as you're the creator, you're the one that has to film it, you're the one that has to be there, right? For me, with my clients, obviously they get used to certain, and we try to pair them with certain filmmakers, but at the same time, no matter who shows up at that property, they know they're going to be getting that exact service, right? So I think it's really important when you're like, oh, are you going to outsource your video editing, photo editing, everything? Well, if you're looking to actually build a business and you want to be the business owner and you want to be in this position that I'm in right now, absolutely. But if you much more enjoy the art part of it, the content part of it, and you want to be there on site, involved with the client, then I know for a fact that if you then also video edit your own content, obviously it's going to be better than if you outsource it. But then you're quite limited. So it
Yeah.
really depends what they want.
Is that scalable though? Like, can you scale creative at that high level? Because I think that's a big question mark for a lot of agency owners, and I've only seen maybe a handful that have been truly able to scale
Yeah,
to
there's like
that
Oliver.
high.
There's a few people that I think have done a fantastic job at it. They're still, in my opinion, and again, like they've built personal brands, and that's the thing. Maybe once if you actually build a personal brand out of it, then maybe you can get way more than just, I've seen a few people try. I've seen a few people come and go that, ended up because again, you either potentially get burnt out, or even if you're like now charging 20K per project. Okay, great, but again, you're still tied to that project, right? Versus I think obviously what you've done is fantastic, like the business you're building now, and obviously all of the other businesses and how you partner up with people. I think that's definitely the, kind of like the maybe ultimate or next stage. But even when you're in my position, it's like, if you want the freedom while still being able to say like, you're making good money, like then it definitely focus on learning how to be a better business owner, right? So
Yeah.
then as long as you know how to sell and your product is solid and you trust your team that they're going to fulfill it, please let your team fulfill it and don't get
Yeah.
involved in any of the fulfillment side of your business.
How do you become a better business owner? Like, what do you have to do? Where do you have to invest? What skills do you have to attain or grow or develop to become a great business owner that is worthy of $1 million business?
Can I just say maybe the number one thing was probably surround yourself with more business owners and like learn from them? Like, dude, like I think I did it the wrong way. It took me way more years than it should have had by doing just trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. And then, I go to a business retreat like 3 years ago and I sit down with 30 other business owners and some of them have had, $50 million exits in my industry. And I'm like, wait a minute, if I just talk to you for 30 minutes, I just saved a year of trying it myself out. So I think that is even just a reminder myself now. I'm a little bit removed here in Hawaii, and like that's why I was like, man, if I could only go to your like LA mastermind that's coming up, because I think that would be crucial. But not to just like give you a plug, just being genuinely honest, I think that's probably the number one, because you learn from each other, and you can avoid making the very expensive mistakes. I've made up to, okay, I'll tell you total mistakes, because I sometimes keep calculate of that. One recent huge mistakes that I made cost me $600,000. That's
Wow.
one really big mistake that I made that literally cost me 600K.
Could you have really avoided
100%.
that if you like consulted someone who
I think
was?
so. I think so. Yeah, don't hire your friends. I mean, I wish
I could have
somebody
told
told
you
me that
that one.
earlier.
I mean,
There you
that's the
go.
thing. Sometimes you gotta learn those lessons the hard way. Like you gotta get.
Of
It's
course.
just like people can tell you, "Yo, the stove is hot. Don't touch it. Don't touch the stove." And then you're like, oh, "Okay, I see why. Fuck, my fucking fingers, fucking,
Yeah.
burnt."
Yeah.
So yeah, I think some of us, like, us entrepreneurs who like to get our hands a little bit dirty, and us, like, we like to play with stuff, we like to try things, we like to, be like, hey, we can figure it out on our own. uh, I think it's very important to know and remind ourselves that there is a better way. Learn from people
Definitely.
that are exactly where you want to be, or that have built what you want to build. How do you find the right mentors, or how do you discern who is giving you good advice versus what's just bullshit? Because there's so much information out there, right? You have like the Harmozis that obviously give great advice, but like sometimes even Harmozi's advice isn't truly relevant or specific enough to your situation. And then you have like people that have done it well. Like, who do you take advice from? Who's worthy of being a good consultant or mentor to you?
For me, I actually, it's very, I love that you mentioned that, because I actually think it has a lot to do with what you mentioned right before, where you said, hey, make sure they're doing what you actually want to end up be doing, right? So I had somebody who, kind of asked me, it's like, hey man, like if the ultimate goal is to get to like, let's say 100 mil. Okay, cool. You got to 100 mil. Are you willing to get to 100 mil by meaning that this is what your day-to-day life is? You're now managing, 2,000 people, which requires this, much of your time. Like you have to kind of like look after people. Like, do I want to be the Hormozy of the world? I don't, right? Do I still think, as you said, that he's still giving some great advice? Of course. But again, I think look for people that have the exact lifestyle, and kind of, again, you're always learning. There's never like an end point, but just in general, the lifestyle that you really, really want. And ideally, maybe they're in a somewhat similar industry, right? So for me, I looked at a lot of different, one person that I look up to a lot was, Travis Chambers, right? So he owned Chambers Media. He had the big exit. He's now diversifies his business into multiple other things. And it's like, he's not this massive entrepreneur, but I was like, wait a minute, he's in our industry. He did what he wants. He's now has the freedom, and he's living an awesome life, and he's taking care of his family, and now he started out, right? So it's like, that's kind of what we want to look at. Is the person that you're looking up to, are they doing what you hope to be doing in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah. And how much do you invest in like that aspect of mentorship, development, masterminds? You said you went to a business retreat. Was that expensive to be a part of? And what type of ROI do you get from stuff like that?
It's so funny because like ROI in that aspect is very, very hard to track. Like maybe if I went a couple of years before, it would have saved me the 600K, aka huge ROI. So I think ROI, it really is hard. I think you have to make sure, number one thing is like, I know people that like are like serial, like they'll go to like a million of these events. They'll go to all of them, and then they forget to implement, right? So for me, it's not like a volume thing. I try to go to a couple a year. That's my goal. At least two of these like kind of business type retreats per year. I don't have a current mentor that like I have on payroll, but I do have certain people I really look up to that I will pay for their time if I'm struggling to something. So for me, it's a case by case basis. That retreat was like, I think 3 grand, like really nothing crazy, right? So it depends what situation you're in. Maybe you just have $500 right now, and that's all you can invest. I still think it's probably a good thing to do for sure,
Yeah,
as long as you implement.
there's tons of good conferences you can attend with like top speakers, whether it's Grant Cardone, Harmozy, Gary Vee, my friends putting one together called Creator Hub out in Orlando, and he's
It's
getting
awesome.
a lot of top creators. Actually, if I know it's quite a big trip for you, but if you're in Florida or able to be in Florida in August, he's getting together some of the biggest creators that are business oriented, and there's going to be 1,000 people in Orlando.
That's
To,
awesome.
yeah,
Please
so
send me more information on that. That's something you said, create a hub, right?
yeah, Creator
Yeah.
Hub. I'm going to be buying probably 10 tickets for my inner circle and renting out a mansion.
Nice.
So maybe if you go, you can come hang out at the mansion as well. So I'll
Yeah,
get you more
that
information.
that'll be awesome, man. Please do. I am literally I'm gonna be in just so happen I'm gonna be in Miami in August, right? So that'll be
Okay.
perfect.
Well,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
it might align
If
perfectly.
the dates work out, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, awesome. I'll shoot you a message after this.
Perfect.
And when it comes to like your current team, like who did you have to get in place to be able to have this lifestyle where you could take off a month if you wanted to right now, right?
Yeah, and I have. Yeah. Yeah, we're about to go 3 weeks. We're doing a bit of a Europe tour. So yeah, definitely it's like uh the team is everything, and you have to really really take care of your
Yeah,
team, man. So who did I have to so we have filmmakers, right? We have photo editors, we have video editors, we have virtual assistants who handle a lot of potential, like, admin, booking, fulfillment side of things, right? And then appointment setters, sales reps, and somebody who runs our ads and social media, right? So that's kind of the bulk of the team. There's obviously multiple for each, depending on volume and location and things like that. But it's very like it's complex, but at the same time, it's pretty simple. Because again, you look at like your fulfillment and be like, hey, where can I add somebody there? And you have to really really take care of the team. So I work with pretty much the same people, since the beginning. So my first photo editor, who has now been 8 years, dude, I think, yeah, 8 or 9 years. I still work with him. He's built a whole photo editing team himself. He's got an office and many many editors now on his team that work exclusively with us. So that's my favorite way, is like growing with someone. I'll give you another example. Filmmaker here in Hawaii. He's going to be actually relocating to Phoenix. So I'm opening a Phoenix location with him because of that. So then we're able to then scale up that whole side. So I look for really really good people and be like, how much basically money can you possibly make with me that you not have a reason to leave? And it's not just about money, it's about obviously
yeah,
everything else, perks and freedom and stuff like that, but an enjoyment of the actual job. But that's how I try to treat my entire team, for sure.
yeah, that's awesome. One thing that kind of sparked my interest is you didn't name like um managers. Like, are there like directors and managers within each department? Do you have like team leads? How do you manage, like, what's your management structure look like? Because at Aerial Canvas, right now it's led by two directors that have like three departments they manage each. One on the creative side, one on the operations and like the admin, project management, a little bit of marketing and business development, and the other one's doing the creative side, which is the shooters, the filmmakers, what we call creative specialists, the photo editors, and the video editors. And then also the commercial production department that's doing like the higher end productions and videos. So, do you have management structures in place to hit 200,000 a month, or do you just have like role players that just take care of everything?
Some management for sure. So definitely I have very, very similar to how you mentioned it. I have one that's on the sales side, make sure the ads, both organically, everything, manages the appointment setters and everything. And then I have two, one on the creative side and one on the listing side, right? So creative side is going to be more, is literally very very similar to kind of how you described it. Is the same thing. So I would say I have three kind of main key players, saying that everybody, in order to work well with the way this industry is, I work with people in what, 5 or 6 different time zones, like 10 different countries. Like, dude, like everybody, you have to be self-sufficient and you have to be able to pull your weight to succeed on a team like mine. There is no, if you're looking for someone to be micromanaging you, if you're looking for, it's not going to work. And this is how it's very very easy to, in my case, it's very very easy to tell if somebody is doing well or not, because as soon as somebody joins the team, I also, by the way, I always have like a week full pay trial, so that like they make sure they fit in our ecosystem, because it's a little bit more of a unique ecosystem, just in general if they're coming from another industry. But I always do that every single time. I highly advise anybody, a week or 2 weeks, fully paid, pay them, it doesn't matter. But before you commit to like a full-time job with them, even if you're just have them, so people can really, so the rest of the team functions very, very well with this new team member. But just in general, you'll know right away if it's a good player or a bad player,
Yeah.
because I think somebody who's not great on your team pulls the rest of the team down.
Yeah.
Everything. As an owner, you'll know right away when it's like, wait a minute, like what's really going on. And then yes, you have to look into it. You have to really make sure that like, okay, who's actually, and one of the hardest things in this business is letting people go, but you absolutely have to, and you have to do it
Yeah.
fast. Oh my God.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was so hard for me, because I was like, no, I really care for this person, this, that. You have, like, if you're in this position, if you want to be in this position, right? One of the hardest things will be you're going to have to sit people down and let them know they can no longer be on your team.
Yeah, 100%. And so how do you figure out if someone is not a good fit? You mentioned like, they're pulling everyone down, like that's something that I think, there's an intuition behind it and there's a feeling, but how do you calculate it? Like, for someone, there's some people out there that are very practical. They look at numbers, there's maybe KPIs, like key performance indicators. What is it? What is exactly are you looking at to know that, hey, this person's got to go?
Yeah, obviously depends on the industry. The great thing is we often have multiple of the same, right? So we'll have many filmmakers, we'll have many photo editors, many video editors. It's very, very easy to compare because you've had amazing experiences. And if they don't live up to those experiences that I now have with the rest of my team that I'm keeping on, done. Easy decision, right? The harder decision is the more of those key managerial roles, right? So that role is a little bit difficult, but I gotta also be super, super transparent with you. In our industry, I think you can run it pretty lean, right? I used to have a crazy overhead. I used to have 6 figures in overhead. Okay. I had somebody sit me down and was like, hey man, and this is someone who deals with way, way bigger business owners than me. He had, and this is one of those like kind of tips that you can get and really like, it can really help your business. But basically he was saying, hey man, whoever you have overhead, manager or CEO, whoever it is, if you cannot track that that person is bringing in at least 3 times the profit than what you're paying them, if you're paying them 10 G's a month, 20 G's a month, 30 G's a month, if they're not bringing you at least 3 times the profit into your business, you don't need them. Like don't even think about it. And I took his advice to heart, and I made some very, very drastic decisions, and it was like it was literally the best decision I've made in my business. My overhead went down 70%, but my business still doubled within 3 months after that.
Amazing. So don't have corporate fat, essentially, like,
It
cut that
doesn't
out.
work in our industry, man. Like, think about it. Our competition is individuals. Our competition is like, definitely you don't have to like try and price down, because then it's just a race to the bottom. So never, it's not that, but just in general, if you want to expand, you have to understand that like, oh, I charge this client $1,000 and I'm only paying my photographer, 300. That means I'm profiting 700. That's not the case. Suddenly, if you have, 100K a month in overhead, what is really your profit numbers? So when I had this very difficult thing, I found out, I was like, wait a minute, our profit numbers are nowhere near that kind of what they seem like on paper. So you have to really, really figure out in our industry, figure out your numbers, because you want to have enough left over. Obviously, not just to pay yourself, but more importantly, to have enough to be able to actually expand the business, right? You need to be able to have ad budget. You need to be able to have, creative budget. You need to be able, if you're in the business of owning equipment, although I don't recommend that, you're operational on equipment. But anyway, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so run it as lean as possible. You don't need a lot. I've actually met someone who's doing, I think, double, maybe, they're doing like 350, 400K, and they're running it all VAs and all subcontractors, and it's
Yeah.
just running fantastic. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I learned the hard way personally. Like when I was expanding, especially, having employees in California, there was a level of entitlement, but then they wanted more pay, more pay, more pay. And it's just like, what exactly are you doing to earn the more pay? Because like one manager was getting paid 100,000, managing 5 team members inside this project management department. And I'm like, for you to truly justify you just managing, you need to drive more than 20% efficiency and value from each one of those 5 team members you're managing just to break even on your role. So we shifted our business models to be a lot more focused on, you know, doing and actual like operators and like people that are actually like doing the work and not just talking about the work or conceptualizing and strategizing. Because realistically, I don't think most businesses can't afford it, right? Like you at our scale, if you're underneath 1 million, you need like every role player, like every person in each role to be doing stuff like
Oh yeah.
over half the time. Like
Oh yeah.
at most 50% management, like for one role to manage like, 5 people, maybe you can give them like an extra 20, 30K for them to manage 5 people. And yeah, it's worth you spending $500 a month per person, maybe, or for
Yeah.
that department. But it's yeah, I definitely have seen a lot of, I think it's almost been the death of my company when I just gave so much
Same.
power. I mean, it's literally like our government.
Yeah.
Once they have the power, they don't want to let it go, and they want to get paid to do, just sit around and talk about what they're gonna do, but not actually do stuff. And it's
Yeah.
like, I only want to pay doers, and if the money is better spent, incentivize. Like, think about it like this: if you have 50K to pay to a manager, are you
Yeah.
going to get more results by just literally telling those 5 people that he's managing that they can get a 10K bonus if they help you achieve the
There you
result that you
go.
want the manager to achieve?
Game changer. If anybody's gonna be listening to this and listen to anything, what we just said right now, like what you said, and that, man, it's literally like I shifted in the same way, and it's completely saved my business, right? So I sometimes see, I'm looking at other media companies, and I see them growing these massive teams, and you go on their website and you go on their socials, and they're like, they're doing this and all of these roles, and I'm like, these roles are needed. Do you guys know ChatGPT is out there? Do you know you can just have one person that just prompts all day long and like literally saves you like anything that and then incentivize your filmmakers, incentivize your editors, incentivize people that are actually doing the work and fulfilling the business. And if you can do that, you can continue to scale, because I work with filmmakers that love the content creation side of things but hate dealing with the sales, the marketing, the clients, the headaches, everything else. And it's a perfect partnership, and I'm so transparent in like, hey, this is what we take, this is our overhead, this is what my cut is, this is what your cut is. Is that a fair game? Is that okay with you? Yes? Okay, then we're going to do great work together. Transparency is key. And I know some people disagree with that. For me, it's like, I'd rather just everybody know everything, because it creates less headaches down the road, right? They need to know what they're getting into. They need to know their potential, and it's a win-win all around.
100%. And so, what do those numbers look like on the listing side? Because I know you have two businesses or
Yeah.
two big focuses. You have the
Yeah.
listings, and then you have the AI and the
Yeah.
cloning like marketing company. What
Yeah.
does the listing side of the business do in terms of numbers, and how does that break down? And what's a good net margin for an efficient business like yours?
For sure, yeah. So, 100, I would say about 130K a month on average, is the listing side. 70K is the retainer marketing AI side. And then in terms of obviously the marketing side is more profitable. The listing side, it's gotten better, right? Ever since we've dropped overhead, everything else. So right now we're running about like a 22 to 25% net margin across all packages. Obviously, more luxury, better packages are going to have way better net numbers. But we also we shoot everything, right? We still have $5.99 packages that are doing fantastic, and there's some slimmer margins on there, but they still work.
Yeah. Well, that sounds pretty along the lines of my agency, like the one in California and the one in Seattle. After paying everyone, after paying, your operators, your role players, usually at the $1 million mark, like 20 to 25% is a very healthy and nice margin. It means you're running a pretty lean business because there's just so much, right? You have your taxes, you have your payroll, you have your insurance, you have your software, you have, like all of these 3% of payment processing, like it all adds up. And all of a sudden, you know, people think they're making 70% margins, but they're not. They're
Oh
just
my
doing
God.
three
No,
people's
that's what I'm
jobs.
saying.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
like, okay, you're at 200K. You're literally doing the job of the editor and the admin and the operations person. So like, yeah, you're doing 70%, but you have 3 jobs. You're not doing 70%. After you pay someone and you hire someone for each role, yeah, 20 to 30% are really good margins. I've seen some companies like they see my own company face margin compression all the way down to like I was making 5% on 7 million. I'm like
Same,
yeah,
brother. Don't worry. When I had my overhead, of course, like there were so many things. It's like that's why it was like a wake up call, right? Where it's like you realize you're like, you know what it was too. I think, and maybe it was a similar timeline with yours, but obviously we had the COVID boom, and it was, at least for us, we were so busy, we weren't like focusing on much. We're like, we need to like cover, like get everybody on everything.
hire, spend, make it.
Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, I've seen businesses I've looked up to and everything, and they're gone now in 2025. They're gone. Like gone, gone, gone. And it's crazy because yes, obviously you have to adapt, but I think even more, well, just as important as adapting is really be like, okay, understanding the market we're in and understanding like your numbers so you can actually profit. I've taken, obviously we say no to clients all the time. They're like, oh, but that guy will do it for 800 and you're asking 12. I'm like, please go with that guy, please, because I'm not going to take something that is unprofitable to my business. Once you know your numbers, it's so easy to say no. But
Yeah,
obviously, it's not just about saying no. It's about being like, oh, okay, for that extra $400, look, we just got 60K on this reel. Listen to this client saying he just brought in a $4.6 million buyer because of this reel. Is that worth $400 to you? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, then I'll book you in. Right. So it's obviously like a bit of a, you have to understand your sales, but also know your numbers enough that when you have to walk away, please walk away. It's not worth your headache. You're gonna work for free. You're good. I was working for free for one of my locations. I was working for free for a long time, and I was like, once I realized it, I was like, okay, done. Now it's easy. Business has gone a lot easier since then.
100%. And then you talked about turning away business. What is your criteria for what clients you say yes to, and what clients are like, no, thank you. You're welcome to take your business elsewhere.
Dude, it's amazing. Like I am so like one of the things I'm the most grateful for is that we literally have the best clients in the world. Like I promise you when I say, and like it's life changing to work with actually nice realtors that like you care for each other at whatever volume, even when it's like 1,500 of them, it doesn't matter. Like it have to like if we have somebody at any point in time that so I'll protect. I'm very open about this. I protect my team before my clients. So if at any point in time we have clients that for any reason whatsoever, they end up, being rude or we've had stories. Listen, we're in an industry where there's stories, right? If that ever happens, we never work with that client again. If we don't align on certain values, if I hear anything on a sales call that's just like really, really off about them, I don't care about the next sale. If they're already booked, I will not book them, right? But most importantly, we work with clients that want growth. Like we truly become their growth partners. They're not necessarily realtors that are like, oh, I just want like cool listing photos. No, they're like, hey, I did 15 transactions next year. I'm dying to get to 40. How are you going to help me? Those are usually the best clients because they're excited for the growth and then you get to grow with them. And suddenly that 20K a year client just turned into an 100K a year client and you don't have to pay for that customer acquisition cost. They're the same freaking client. I had a client who started at 20 listings. He's now doing 400 listings. He's like, I think he pays us like 350K a year or 400K a year. Dude, it's crazy. You just grow with them. So as long as you're very results focused and you align yourself, if that's what you want, if that's what your business is, oh my god, it's a game changer because then it just saves your cost of
Yeah.
acquiring a customer by a mile.
Amazing. And then you have your AI business as well. What is that all about? Like there's so many companies that are like AI this, AI that. Like at the end of the day, you and I as business owners care about one thing: results. So, what type of results have you been able to generate with that product? What is
Okay.
it exactly? Like, if I'm an agent, like, how are you pitching me?
Yeah, so the best thing is this. I've been filming agents for what the last 12, 13 years, right? This has been an absolute game changer for my current clients and any new clients that are interested because we used to have to film with them all the time, content day after content day after content day. Now that we're able to clone them, and this is the best part, it's like there's so many fake, really, really bad looking clones out there. Why ours is so good is just because it's so based on the performance. So when you've worked with non-actors for so many years, I've created criteria where these clones are the most accurate clones. Like nobody picks them up. The algorithm doesn't pick them up. That's AI. Nobody picks it up that this is AI. And it's been a game changer for them. They can now, we script content for them. We know their brand. We post it out there. They don't have to move a finger. So they no longer have to shoot content. At the end of the day, it's just a tool in the toolbox. So you still have to have the right system to place on their socials. We absolutely don't sell this to everybody. It's, again, those agents that understand kind of what it takes. They have the right systems in place where we can plug the AI clone into their business, and then boom, it's a game changer. What type of results I've seen? It brings them back so much time. And dude, the craziest part is it just brings them deals. Like when your clone just landed you a freaking like $2 million deal, a video that you didn't have to film, you didn't edit, you didn't post, you probably didn't even know existed. It's a game changer for these agents, right? So it's been awesome. But again, a tool in a toolbox. So you have to know how to use it, and you have to be able to apply it with the same principles in marketing that worked everywhere else. It's not just like this, like, oh, cool, now I have a clone. Okay, and then what, right? But yeah, really cool results. That's the thing I'm like probably the most excited about right now that we're working on.
Yeah. Dude, you got to come to Creator Hub then, because the founder who I know in Medellin, he's literally building something similar, and his AI clone, something that he wasn't even aware, created this video, and like we got to drop this video at some point. But Joe Rogan featured his video on his podcast.
Insane.
It was on his Instagram. So if you go to Joe Rogan.
The University of Zurich just got caught running a massive secret AI experiment on Reddit where their bots were 6 times more persuasive at changing people's minds. Since November 2024, researchers deployed 13 AI bots across Reddit that
so that's his clone doing the video.
Yeah. Comments.
Yeah. There you go.
Moderators,
well,
turning thousands of people into
and he got featured on Joe Rogan with 4.3 million views, and he didn't even come up with the script. AI came up with the script, and he was hands off, and his video editors did everything.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about, dude. That's it. You got it. Like that's literally it. That's what we've been doing for these agents, and you just don't know. They again, once they trust us, obviously, and we can be their growth partners. It's so easy because it's like they just have to like focus on what they do best, right? Which is like sit down with their clients, and it's amazing, dude. I love seeing that stuff, and like people get scared by it. People are obviously a little bit upset. Like there's a lot of controversy about it, and listen, I'm in a game where it's like you have to adapt, right? You have to adapt. You have to use the technology that's available to you, and it's the only way. I believe now the majority of content already, if not, I just saw a stat recently, it's already like on YouTube Shorts, it's already more than half. It's just all AI, and it's supposed to go to like 80-90%, which there's some good and bad, but listen, if you're a business owner and you can use it to scale and help your clients, you have to. It's our duty to help our clients grow, so we have to.
100%. And how can other real estate media agency owners potentially pivot into what you're doing? I know you and I talked about creating an accelerator for this. That's still, we're still in the production or pre-production side of things. We want to make sure it's a really good product that is scalable and it actually, is tried and true. You have the case studies now. You have the results that you're literally helping agents land new listings, and they don't even know their content is getting produced. Like they literally like, I never seen this video. I never filmed this video. I never said those things, and it's landing them deals. So what does this look like for a real estate media agency owner that wants to get in this and potentially wants to partner up with you? I know we haven't hashed out the details, but like how do you see this scaling? Like, why would you actually want to partner with a real estate media agency owner as opposed to just continue trying to scale it up yourself?
Dude, this is, as I told you, I believe there's plenty of business for all of us. And remember I told you, like, I had people that told me to do something that, saved me like 5 years of doing myself or 2 years of doing myself. This is the exact same thing, right? So for us, like we got it up to 70K a month in like, less than 90 days of actually launching, sales and everything. And this is recurring. This is every single month. And it's scaling fast. Like, I think this is a business that's going to take over our listing business literally within the next 3 months for sure. And it's available to anybody. The secret sauce is definitely understanding the processes, still understanding exactly how to use it, how to actually not just market it to agents, but how to actually use it to generate results for agents. Because if you're charging an agent, let's say 3K, 5K, 10K a month, they're going to stay with you forever as long as you can, produce 15K, 20K, or 30K back in business for them, right? So using this tool, first of all, how to actually create a clone, how to have the best possible performance. If let's say you don't have, 10 plus years experience filming non-actors, because everybody's got weird takes and everything, and you have to really, really make sure you nail down the performance, then using the technology, and then how to actually apply it to the agents, what packages to create, and how to obviously make this. And again, this is margin wise, this is very, very profitable for owners. At least in the times that we're in right now, as long as you can produce results. Again, if I'm charging 5K and it's costing me 1,500 or 2K, well, guess what? Again, if that agent's making 10, 15K from it, they're going to be very, very happy to continue. So it's a win-win for everybody: the media owner, myself, and the actual agent down the road.
Exactly. Yeah, and that allows you to scale faster too. If you could partner with more media agency owners that already have videographers on the ground and have like business owners that know how to potentially communicate at a higher level, you don't have to train out more closers or hire on more staff. You can just like grow more predictably that way as well. So yeah, I'm
100%.
excited to unpack that opportunity with you sooner than later. I think that it's something that it's just like there's a window of opportunity in the next realistically 6 months to 3 years to truly capitalize on doing this before AI is going to just do it.
I
You can just
know it's
walk
really
into a
interesting.
booth,
Yeah,
walk
yeah,
into a booth and AI just like coaches you how to film and then
yeah.
all of a sudden clones you.
But that is like you're laughing, but that's in the works right now. Like that's exactly what we're kind of getting to. I'm still talking. I'm like talking to auto owners what they think about like having like the Tesla robots come in and shoot properties and stuff like that. I think we're further away from that than maybe what most people think. I don't know. What's your take on that? Like Tesla robots shooting properties.
Tesla robots filming properties. I think there will be a better technology than giving a Tesla robot a gimbal. I think you could literally. What I think it will be is kind of like a very small drone, but that's like an orb almost. That's like basically take
Yeah,
an Insta 360 with like
yeah,
a Mavic Mini Pro with like obviously props to guard the propellers,
yeah.
propeller guards or whatever you call them. I'm not a drone techie, and that's just gonna like it might need an operator to like just go in and open the doors, but like someone that can get literally an operator as simple as someone who can drive DoorDash or Uber, and then they just go in and they open out the houses, turn on the lights if needed, if that's the look they're going for. This drone flies around to each room, taking 360 capture scans, shooting LiDAR, like mapping out the entire
Everything you
place,
need. Yeah,
flying
yeah,
into each corner, and grabbing those shots within like, like 10, 20 seconds per room, like literally sheep,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I think that is what we're facing, and like that
Yeah.
drone capturing all that footage and just uploading it to the cloud, or like just docking into a station and then it just gets 5G'd into the cloud and AI just renders everything out. I think
That's what I'm saying. I think then you have
yeah,
the AI bots that do all the photo editing, video editing, and within 60 minutes it's already delivered to the agent or
yeah,
already posted and getting
it's already
marketed.
posted. Yeah, and the agent's clone, made by Soiree Production, is literally like hyping up the thing, giving a tour of the actual 3D experience, and it's
Oh
game over.
man.
And agent, there's going to be 4 agents in each market because those are the preferred agents that everyone will watch. And they're not even
Oh,
making money. They had to license out their
oh,
personality, and they're just making money on that now.
oh man. We're laughing, but like I don't know
We're
how
fucked.
far away we are from that.
Yeah,
Hey,
we're fucked
listen,
in a
you
good way.
gotta adapt, man. You gotta adapt because like it's kind of what Amazon started selling books. It did not end up just selling books, right? It's the same thing, and it's like even the it's the same with AI. I think it's one of these things where it's like it's constantly making sure you take some time to familiarize yourself with it or surround yourself with people that are already familiar with it and just apply it to your business on a consistent basis. I mean, you have to. Not everything's gonna stick, but that's the number one thing. There's no point of like dwelling and like being afraid of it or thinking that like you're cooked. Like, nah, like just really just constantly take the everyday, and you apply it a little bit every day, and you have no idea where you're gonna end up. I don't think any of us are out of business anytime soon, as long as we keep kind of following that simple
Yeah.
formula. It's really not that complicated. Yeah.
Exactly. Especially if you have something like that you've already built right now that has a really good foundation to help average business owner or real estate agent clone themselves, help them make a lot of money without them having to lift much of a finger. And then that's something that you can help other agency owners make money with. I think there's a lot of room for that to scale out to be a 10, 20, $50 million, like solution that we can scale out together through the network we have at ACRE Partner and through your expertise. And dude, we got to talk to Icon
Yeah.
Becker, that guy running the Creator Fest.
Yeah.
He's literally creating this for the masses,
That's
and
awesome.
obviously he's looking for integrators because
Yeah.
we don't need to make the tech. We just need to learn. We
No.
just need to know how to integrate it better than the rest, and that makes
Yeah.
us extremely valuable in this new AI era is to
Yeah.
be a integrator, to be someone who can adapt the platform. Because like that's the biggest challenge. Like rich business owners that have money that want to spend money on these types of things, they don't have the time. And that's what we're
No.
solving for, right? We're giving them back their
Time is the most valuable thing,
time.
man. Time is the most valuable thing for so many of my clients. Like we work with some of the biggest agents in the country. It's the same thing. If you can buy them back time, they'll pay for it and they'll be very, very happy, So yeah, I agree 100%.
Awesome. Well, excited to build this, excited to take our little piece of the huge AI pie because it's creating huge opportunities for the people that are leaning into it. If you want to resist it, you're gonna be out of a job.
Oh
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're just
No,
gonna be
you
out of
have
a job
to.
if you want to resist it. You got to learn
Yeah.
it. Be the company that empowers your team with AI tools, increasing their effectiveness and efficiency by 2, 3, 5x. That's how you gain an edge. Because if you don't, someone else will, and you'll be out of business.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I hope that we can see you out at one of our masterminds soon. You and I obviously should connect sooner than later about trying to spin up an accelerator to help other agency owners and gain access to a wider net.
Yeah. It'll be amazing, man.
Yeah. And hope to see you in Orlando for.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That I'm gonna make
launch,
happen for sure.
They're launching AI Con, which is like this tool that's gonna revolutionize what basically like take
Love
what
it.
you and I are already doing for ourselves and for a couple others, but actually, layer upon more technology that makes it more accessible. Because we all know, like right now, we're first to market. We can charge a premium, and we can continue charging a premium to the rich agents that want the best of the best. But at the same time, the best solutions are the ones that can serve the greater market. That's why Tesla is
Yeah.
coming out with the Model 3 and now the Model 2, right? So it can serve like even more. And they're trying to manufacture a model. Like right now, I think a Tesla Model 3 is manufactured every 30 seconds. They're trying to manufacture a Tesla Model 2, cut the price in half, and manufacture it every 5 seconds. And now
That's
they
it.
can that's how the biggest companies truly thrive. They try to serve as many people as possible, and it's not about gatekeeping, like you said, like your agent did to you. How to make the most money is, in order to make the most money, you got to create the most value for the most amount of people. And if you can, multiply each one at a higher order of magnitude, that's how you become rich. Is you just change a lot of lives and make a lot of people a lot of fucking money.
100%. That's it, man. I agree.
Awesome. Well, we'll talk soon, Chip. Always good to see you. And one last thing I want to leave the viewers with is like,
Yeah.
if you could give yourself one piece of advice, the younger version of yourself, right, before you started entrepreneurship, what would that piece of advice be?
Take action as soon as possible. That's it. Take action as soon as possible. Doesn't matter what that action is. If it's moving forward, I'm sure you've heard it from a million people, but maybe this time you're hearing it, because it was the same with me. It's just like something just has to click. Every time I've changed everything about my health.
Even if you're failing, right?
Yeah, of course.
Fail
Dude,
faster.
Of course.
Fail
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just do it. Just whatever it is. You want to start that, Instagram and start doing videos every day. Great. You want to start this media agency? Great. You want to start getting shape? Great. Just like literally right now, just Take
Yeah.
take the next 30 minutes and just do something for it. Go watch a YouTube video on it, whatever. It doesn't matter how early you're in the stage or how late you're in the stage. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what else you have going on in your life. It all starts with like that first like hour block that you can actually put towards this actual thing that you want to do with your life.
100%. It's all about make the goddamn decision and just do it, right? Or don't do it, right? Like make a decision though, right?
Yeah.
Some people like they get stuck saying, "Oh, should I do it? Should I not do it?" And they're thinking about doing it or not doing it for 3 months. Either don't do it or do it, but like pick something you're gonna do if you're not gonna do something.
100%. I agree.
Awesome. All right, thanks again, Chip. We'll talk soon.